Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to News Dose, and today I have some really exciting news for you Xbox fans out there. But then at the same time, I do also have some controversial news as well. So we're really going to explore both sides of the coin in today's video, because yes, Xbox is ramping up for apparently another great showing. You know, their showcase earlier this month, that was great and everything, but apparently seems like they do have a little bit more up their sleeve, and we're going to get into that today. Then also, Xbox fans are a little upset over yet another game skipping out on their platform, and we now have some details as to why. So, you know what? Let's just go and get right into things, and we'll first start off here with the good news. Now, there were already rumors about this, but it is now officially confirmed Xbox is in fact heading over to Gamescom once again, and from all indication, they're prepping up for a big presence. They just revealed that they will have their biggest booth ever, and you'll quickly understand once you see why. They posted up a follow-up message that confirms various games that will be at this year's Gamescom, which you can see here. They said, "But you want to know about the games, huh? Just a few that you can expect to see: Age of Mythology Retold, Avowed, Are a History Untold, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, Diablo Immortal, The Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, Towerborn, and World of Warcraft, The War Within. More to come." And that there is really the exciting part about this message. I mean, yeah, there's some really interesting games in this list, and, you know, we should kind of expect to see more definitive release dates for games like Avowed and Towerborn at Gamescom, but what's really interesting here is that multiple times in this post, they suggested that they have other games that they're not telling us about. They said, quote unquote, just a few that you can expect to see, and then right at the end, they seemingly emphasized there's more to come. So by all means, we very well could hear about some more unannounced Xbox games at Gamescom, which is kind of crazy to think about. I mean, they just had that big showcase, and it was being lauded as one of the greatest showcases that we've seen in years, and possibly Xbox's best showcase ever made. So to hear that they might have even more games to announce just a few short months later, I think that kind of tells you everything that you need to know about Xbox's position currently. They just have so many studios under their belt now, and they also have a lot of second-party partnerships. So they're confident in their future roadmap, and they're ready to show players what they have for the foreseeable future. It really is a new era for Xbox, and I mean, if you think about it, they've struggled for such a long time with their internal lineup of games. But now all of a sudden, what we're kind of seeing here is that they can go toe-to-toe with really anybody in terms of their pipeline of games. And I think that's really showing throughout 2024. They've given their fans a lot to be excited about by revealing a roadmap for their next few years. And it sounds like we could potentially add a few more games to that list come this Gamescom. That is kind of the question here, though. What games could they be teasing that they didn't show at the Xbox showcase? And there are a few games that kind of comes to mind here. The first of which I'd say is the mysterious Hideo Kojima Xbox game, OD. The Gamescom opening night live event is once again being handled by Jeff Keighley, and really any time that he has a showcase, Kojima is always really a possibility. The two are good friends after all, so we could get yet another reveal for OD with maybe, possibly, some gameplay this time. That would be a very exciting announcement. I mean, really, ever since PT, fans have wanted a horror game from Kojima, and that's what we're getting out of OD, and maybe we'll finally see exactly what type of gameplay it has. And speaking of finally lifting the veil on something, what about Everwild? This is another game that we haven't seen for a very long time. I believe it was 2021 the last time that we saw it, but at one point it was apparently targeting a 2024 release date. So with that in mind, a re-reveal at Gamescom does seem plausible. Now, I'm not saying that it'll release this year, but it might not necessarily be all that far out either. So maybe we could get a quick look at its gameplay. And for that matter, you know, it's also been a while since we've seen Contraband. This is one of Xbox's second-party partnerships. It's apparently some kind of heist cooperative game developed by Avalanche. It was first revealed back in 2021, and we've seen pretty much next to nothing ever since. So if anything else, I do imagine that is pretty far along in development, and that could be another potential reveal. Now, the last game that we do know about that I could see being here is Clockwork Revolution. This is inXile's new game. It's inspired by BioShock, and we got a pretty good look at it last year, so that's a good sign that it could be relatively close in terms of its release, and, who knows, they could give us a more in-depth reveal sooner rather than later. Now, there's also a few games that haven't been announced yet that we've at least heard rumors about. Now, these are a little bit less likely to show up, but I'm going to go and float them out there just because these would make for some really cool announcements. Now, this first one here, though, admittedly is probably just wishful thinking on my part, but we have heard rumors from reputable leakers that a new Banjo-Kazooie game has been greenlit. Now, it sounds like this could still be in early development, but if they came out with a teaser, that alone, I think, would drive a lot of excitement online. For that matter, we also know that Toys for Bob and Xbox are working together on some kind of game. They just started its development in early 2024, and they themselves keep teasing that it might be Spyro related. So again, just like Banjo-Kazooie, even though this is in early development, I think a teaser and a confirmation would get a lot of people very, very excited. So I'd be all up for a Spyro 4 teaser. Then lastly, and I think this is probably the most likely to make an appearance out of the three, it's been a while since we've seen Double Fine, and they did tease that they might have an announcement in store for 2024. Now, I have no idea what this game is. I know a lot of people want it to be Psychonauts related, but kind of based on their comments from the past, I'm not really expecting that. I think this is going to be something smaller. I think it's going to be something brand new and something very quirky because that's just kind of what Double Fine does. Let me know what you all think about all of this, though. With today's news that Xbox is going all out for Gamescom 2024, what's some of your predictions, and are you excited to see some of the games that they've already confirmed? Okay, so moving on, there was actually quietly a showcase today being for limited run games. They just revealed more than 20 games that they're bringing to physical, and there's actually some really welcome games that they announced here. For you Gex fans out there, I know it's been a while, but they just confirmed that the original trilogy will be heading to all platforms this fall. Yes, Gex is back, and not only Gex, but also apparently Bubsy. Yeah, a Bubsy collection is in the works using the Carbon engine. I've never really personally played these games myself, but I do know that there are some big-time fans out there that'll probably be very excited about this announcement. The fact that we'll be able to own a modern physical copy for both Gex and Bubsy, though, I'd say is pretty cool to think about. Now, the Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary also showed up at this event. Now, I still think that it's crazy that Ubisoft didn't reveal it at their own showcase, just considering that it would have gotten much more publicity there since it had higher viewership. But either which way, a physical release is now officially confirmed. The physical version will go live on July 12th, or if you want to go ahead and get the digital version, it instead will actually be available next week on June 25th. Now, this version of the game will actually include up to 4K support, it has improved graphics, it has new content, and it actually looks like Ubisoft did a good job with this remaster. I was very, very impressed by what they had to show here, which is all the more reason that I'm a little annoyed that they didn't announce it at their own showcase because, again, it had higher viewership. But whatever, I guess. It still looks great. That's all that matters here, and I'm going to go ahead and get the physical version for this game. It'll be available on all platforms, which is really nice to see. They're also bringing over another really anticipated re-release to physical, being Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. It's another remake that's shaping up very well, or at least from what I can see. Admittedly, I never played the original, but I know a lot of people really love this game. It is a cult classic after all, and I'm glad to see it get a physical version. Maybe I'll actually try it out this time. It'll be available this summer, again, for all platforms. Now, another game that they announced here, and this one pleasantly surprised me, was Rugrats Adventure in Gameland. I was actually a big fan of this series growing up. It was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, and the animations for this game looks flat out amazing. Like, it looks like the cartoon, or maybe even better. So honestly, this was a really cool announcement to see, and apparently you can pre-order this one right now over on Amazon. Now, we don't have an exact release date just yet, though, but they did say that it will be out soon. Now, those were my main highlights from this event, but like I said, they did announce a lot of other stuff here as well. If you do like retro games, I thought it was a decent showcase, and I will leave a link in the description below if you want to see the full list of games that they announced. Now, one last thing that we need to talk about here, though, is the latest Xbox controversy. Over the past few days, there has been some frustration from the Xbox community because some different games that were announced at the Nintendo Direct will be skipping out on the Xbox platform. And one of which is actually quite notable, being the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. You know, this is a beloved series after all, and it's one that's performed relatively well on Xbox in the past. So obviously, yeah, there's going to be some fans within the Xbox community that are upset by this situation. And now the question really just kind of becomes, why? And can this be fixed? Well, actually, we did get an update from Windows Central, and this is what they said. We saw a suggestion from Jawmuncher on Twitter that Capcom's MT Framework engine is to blame for the recent state of Xbox emissions. Our sources indicate that this is correct. Right now, Capcom has no pipeline for porting older MT Framework titles to Xbox's modern era system, which makes it more expensive to deliver the same titles that would be porting them to PlayStation 4, Switch, or PC. Perhaps Microsoft could step in to lend a hand here. We can only hope. And that's kind of my thing about this situation. If this is a problem that Xbox can help out with, then I think they should absolutely step in and help out, especially for a series like this. I mean, Capcom has been a big supporter of Xbox this generation, so it's not like they're against the Xbox brand or anything like that, but right now they just don't really have a good solution to justify the extra work that it would need to get this game over on Xbox. So hopefully Xbox can step up and help out with this game, and even if it's a port that doesn't happen immediately, maybe it doesn't release next to PlayStation and Nintendo, but even if it comes out later, you know, that would still be great news at the end of the day. So hopefully it will come sometime down the line. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode, but until next time, peace out.